Hey, really going good today so far. I woke up real early. I'm gonna eat me some breakfast here in a minute when I put my teeth in, and I'm not throwing up. Yay! Um, I, I I'm just amazed at how things are going. Um, my paranoia, after having crippling paranoia for decades, um, I have I have lost um, that problem. That's no longer a problem anymore. Um, it started going away with some medicine I started taking, and and then I started focusing on what was going on around me. As I started slowing my mind down, and investigating what was going on and what I was doing to cause it to be worse, and I started correcting my issues. Um, by doing so, and not always responding to what was going on, but responding to what I needed to do. Um, in other words, I didn't change my plans around because somebody broke my door. You know, I patched the door and went on about my business. Today, sometimes it may take me a month or so before I get to things that occur, but I'm not going to change my plans for something that's been done to knock the fire out from underneath me. Because when I start changing the plans, then I start giving in to what's going on. I'm not doing that today. Today it's about recovery. It's about keeping you people that are bad for me away from me. And you know who you are. Somebody came by the other day, and I'm pretty sure they were fishing for information because I've had everything pretty much shut down, trying to figure out where the weakness is in my infrastructure. And I didn't hide anything. My infrastructure. I don't try to hide it. What I got cameras. I got shanty. I've got things barreled off. Cordoned off where you can't see things. So because it's my business, my house. And when I didn't have to prove that somebody was kind of eyeballing me anymore. I just take care of it. I don't have to prove what you're up to today. I don't have to show somebody else what's going on. I don't have to convince anybody that what I'm doing is right and it's working. I show people what I'm doing and that it's right and it's working, not to convince somebody of something, but in case they might need some of the information that I have about what works for me. I guess I'm what you'd call California sober. I use medical marijuana. I've thought about having a little bit of a glass of wine every now and then, but alcohol was always a trigger because of the people in it. So I'm really very aware of triggers nowadays. I'm very aware of gates. All right, I don't leave gates open on persons, places, or things that could lead me down the wrong path. Marijuana was never a gateway drug to me. My brother and me, we got to the desert and smoked joints and shoot at rattlesnakes and coyotes. Um, and every night he'd drink a beer or two, but we'd smoke a joint. Never was anything else. And when he found out one day that I was doing some hard drugs, he climbed all over my ass, even though he was doing them too. But he got all over my ass about it. He said, man, he said, don't get messed with that stuff, you know. And so today I'm very grateful, you know, that things have occurred the way they have, because with my illness and everything else that has occurred, it's really allowed me to slow things down, to become more aware of me, my body, my mind, my issues, what might be going on, you know. I never could understand. Like all the really critical stuff I was doing, my health was going through, that nobody seemed to care. I was like, I thought I had some friends, you know. I thought some people liked me. And this girl the other day told me, she goes, Pat, they never did like you. And I was like, ha ha! You know, it was like, I knew that. Why didn't it register? I knew that. You know, I always kept trying to, if I'm a little bit nicer to them, if I do a little bit more for them, they'll truly like me then. You know, no. They were always jealous of what I had. Used me for a bankroll. Used me for a scapegoat. Punching bag. A comic event. Look at Pat. Look what he's doing. You know, that stupid son of a bitch. You know, when I was just doing what I was told that I needed to do by them, so they could point out later that look what Pat did. Well, today I don't do things the way you want me to do them. You know, I don't ask the same people how to take care of things. You know, I've watched some very successful people do some very shady things to cover their butts because they're involved with all this other shit. And it's sad because, you know, I guess y'all just think you need to keep doing that shit. But the check is in the mail, people. It's just like with my bills, you know. I told everybody when I got this pulmonary embolism, I told all my creditors that as soon as I get it, you will get it. I'm not trying to cut anybody out. I've got like 2 or 3 creditors that I still owe a little bit of money to, but not a whole lot. Got them all paid off. And so as a result, you know, my credit score went from, at one time it was really high. I could get anything I wanted. I could go out and buy a new car on credit and put hardly nothing down on it and drive off with whatever I wanted. And I wanted a lot too. But I could keep it all paid and keep it rolling, and it all seemed like it was working out. And then it didn't. You know, it's kind of like the dope. And then it didn't. Then it stopped. And it was over. You know, unfortunately I had a pulmonary embolism. Almost died in the hospital. And it really slowed me down. But the whole time I was in the hospital, when I finally got a communication device back up and running, and with a phone, you know, with all of my access to everything, I realized what kind of shape I was in. I was like, there's no getting out of this. I had people calling me and companies contacting me, wanting me to buy into their credit jet, and where I would basically file bankruptcy and keep all my debts and pay them a monthly stipend to hold everybody off. And I was going to have to pay like 5 or 7 years, something like that. Quite a bit of money. And I said, well, I'm not going to do that just yet, because I think it's all going to work out. I think I just need to grin and bear it and relax. I think it's going to work out. So lo and behold, it did. And with things slowed down the way they were and the way I'd done things, I had pretty much cut all of the leeches out of my life at that given time, other than the ones that were trying to steal the whole ball of wax. These Shysters, I had $110,000 come in that was supposed to be divided between me and my brothers and my nephew. And I had it sent to me 3 times. The first time, they couldn't send it in one check. First time, I got the first check and the third check. Second check never showed up. So I called them and they said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I guess just cancel payment on all of it and do it again. So right after we did that, the very next day, that check shows up in the mailbox. I was like, yeah, impeccable timing. So they were sending them again. I said, well, no, but we need a couple weeks. What's a couple weeks? It's been, a year. I'm so far behind now. What's a couple weeks? So they sent the checks again. Lo and behold, I got the first check, second check, third check didn't come. Like, oh, damn. So I waited around. I said, well, I ain't waiting around any longer. I said, because I'm going to cancel them again. So I canceled them again. This time, when I went back to them, I had everything done with overnighted and signed receipts and all that stuff. And would you believe somebody signed and receipt of a check here at the house when I wasn't even home? And I called that company. I said, I don't believe this shit. I said, this is unreal. This is just so bold. I said, I literally had to contact every single one of my banking institutions and tell them, say, look, I have been my identity's been stolen. I said, they're even signing stuff at the house when I'm not even there. But I knew this shit was going on because, like I said, I was getting tickets in my truck in school zones while I was in the hospital and while I was in bed. Nobody's supposed to be driving my truck. But I got tickets for speeding in school zones while the truck wasn't even being driven. I've had people come in and help me out and literally just make it look like I have really just torn everything slap dab up. And that's why I don't respond to anything that's occurred when it occurs. I work on a plan. I set everything in motion, and I take care of things just like walking through the park, one step at a time. Things are going to happen good for me because I believe in God. I believe in not hurting other people. I believe in doing just the right thing at the right time, all the time. And helping other people. Sometimes helping other people means to stay out of their way. There's a couple cats right now. One of them I know's in jail And all I can do to help him is just leave what I have on him in a safety deposit box at the bank. Hopefully he's had enough and he's done, and he'll go the right way. I hope so. I got hope for him. He's a smart guy. That may be his downfall. But everybody told me what was going on, you know. All these people he thought were so loyal. It's just like the people they ain't nobody loyal no more. Your name's gotten out there, all of y'all. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Just like my name's out there. Crazy one-legged old man in a wheelchair. But I'm not the mean and angry guy that everybody was trying to make me be. Alright? I'm no longer yelling and screaming at people and cussing people out for nothing. Just because I thought I should. Because y'all thought it was funny and y'all would push me to do so. Let Pat handle it. Get Pat on it. He'll take care of it. And I would, man. Let me tell you what. I would. And all it did was just establish me as a reputation of being a mean, angry person. So that way when all the evil, fake friends dropped out of the picture, they could all say, well, shit, you just turned into a mean and angry guy. We didn't like you anymore. Oh, shit, you never did. Because I know how that works, man. There's people that I care about that have done mean and angry things. I still care about them. Unfortunately, they don't care about me. But there's nothing I can do about that. I can keep my care for them between me and God. You know, my ex-wife, best thing that ever happened to me. I'll tell you what number she was. She wasn't number 1, she wasn't number 4. I did her so wrong, man. But I did her the way that I was set up to do her. I mean, honest to God, I'll take this to my grave. I don't have to point any finger anymore. But I was groomed. Y'all been grooming me for a long time to be a wallet, a scapegoat, a tester, somebody you could torture and all laugh about. And that's all right today. Y'all have done so much for me doing that, you'll never know, man. All right. Scientifically, y'all have made me the powerhouse that I am going to be. All right. Without a doubt. My last time I was in the hospital and what have you, has made me come back and fall back on a lot of different designs and stuff that I was working on to make them even simpler or do more. But always in doing, doing exactly what we needed to do, and not being over engineered to do that. It's going to be cool. I got a lot of interesting stuff coming out. And like I said, today I'm not falling back and jumping on things as they occur. I've got a method of operations and a mode that I'm going into to take care of things one at a time. Turn around, just walk through like it's a walk in the park. Start putting this stuff out. You know, IOU Global is what it's all about. The crazy one-legged old man in a wheelchair and the carpenter without a clue and all the other monikers and what have you. It's just little divisions of what I do to help me, to help somebody else later. All right. Every time I figure out something that's a hack that will help me get by and help me get through my day. That's something, if I can duplicate it for somebody else, then they can have the benefit from it as well. I want to put together some stuff and donate it to some veterans and to different organizations to get to some of these people. I'm so very fortunate, that things have occurred here on the tail end of my life, like they've occurred, all right, that allowed me not to just go belly up and blow through everything, after mom and dad died, and end up with nothing. Even after my son decided he didn't want to be a son anymore, and he wanted everything that I was supposed to have, and he wanted it now, and he got it. And then I almost died, and then he popped back up in my life in the hospital. Dad, are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? And I almost fell for it. I gave him, I did fall for it. I gave him the keys to the house, and I said, I need you to do this and this and this, and check out for the dogs. If you can find the dogs, find out what's going on with them. I don't need to make sure they're all right. And I didn't know already that somebody had given my dogs away. They didn't even know where they were. These are my children. I harbored a lot of hate and discontent over that shit for a long time, and was didn't understand. But you know what? I'll never understand some of the stuff some of y'all do, because my head is just, I just wasn't programmed that way, man. I wasn't programmed to screw somebody over and laugh about it. If I accidentally hurt somebody, I felt guilty. There's a lot of stuff I still feel guilty about today. People that I was supposed to be taking care of that I more or less took advantage of because I was high on drugs. And you know what? Most of the time I wasn't high on drugs when I started with dealing with them. That all occurred as soon as I started making good contacts. All right. When I didn't have good contacts and I had no things going, none of y'all wanted anything to do with me. Y'all didn't want to give me drugs. Y'all didn't want to party with me. Y'all didn't want to play with me. As soon as I started selling hot dogs and making some money doing that, everybody wanted a piece of that. Wanted to get me involved with some dope, at work and this and that. Here, have a little bit of this for when you get off work. Sooner or later, before I get off work. And then my lawn business started doing good. So what did y'all do? And I'm talking about some important people here. They hooked me up with a bunch of crackheads. And I'm talking about some important people here. You guys know who you are. Then mom and dad died. And what do you guys do? Y'all put a bunch of speed freaks in my house, telling me that they're clean, everything will be fine. And all they did was just bring dope in my house, take me down the road. People ain't coming in my house no more. All right, I know that I don't hang around with those kind of people. It blows my mind that you hang around with those kind of people. All right. But then I look at it, and I was like, this is an Epstein deal. All they're doing is screwing people. It's like, how many holes can I put this thing in? And when I'm done, what am I going to do with them? I'll pawn them off on somebody else. A lot of y'all are behind this epidemic. With drugs and what have you. Either through ignorance or just flat out helping the distribution of. It's one thing that if you're high on drugs and high on dope, to bring dope to somebody else so you can afford yours. It's another thing when you're not high on it, when you're just bringing it and selling it to other people to make them miserable and to keep them hooked and keep money going into your wallet because you're a good person. You never do anything like that. But you're distributing the pain and the grief to everybody that is. There's a special place in hell for all of y'all. You know, we're all going to hell in a handbasket. Some of y'all just guaranteed a spot. You know, today, I'm not guaranteed a spot anymore. I'm not guaranteed a spot in heaven either. But I guarantee I can get there if I do the right thing. It's guaranteed. You know, I just got to do the right thing every single day, every single minute. If I make a mistake, correct it, ask for forgiveness, and keep going. And that's what I'm going to do. So this was going to be a live, and I didn't really want to do it live because I wanted to put it out a little later. And no teeth, no shirt, no service. But yeah, this is going to be the Monster Scooter Shanty. Carpenter without a clue. Crazy one-legged old man in a wheelchair. You can Google that shit too. Because that's really who I am. You can Google that shit too. And yeah. So be nice to yourself, be nice to somebody else. Don't F with paranoid people because it ain't nice. You know, my brother was telling me, I got to say this. He said, I was telling him the same thing I just said. I said, you know, I'm the crazy one-legged old man with a wheelchair. And you can Google that shit too. And I said, be nice to yourself, be nice to somebody else. Have a great day. And I said, don't F with paranoid people. He said, oh, Pat, don't say that. I said, don't say what? Don't F. He said, no, I'm talking about paranoid people. People can think you're paranoid. I said, I was. I said, I'm not ashamed of that. There was nothing I could, I literally had no control over what my mind was going to do and setting me into when it was happening. I literally had no way of grasping reality when it was happening. Whether you're high on drugs, drunk with alcohol, stoned out of your gourd, or you're taking medications that resemble that as well, that is no time for you to be making decisions. And even if you could, you couldn't. So, let's start treating people with a little bit of respect, because sometimes they might just be having a hard time. Boo-hoo should not be a word in your vocabulary. I'm sorry shouldn't be a word in your vocabulary. You should just be there for somebody. I'm sorry that happened to you. No, you're not. You know, if you were, chances are it wouldn't have happened to me, because somebody would have been around helping me out and things wouldn't have occurred quite like they did. But I have looked like a practicing meth head ever since my house flooded, because that's what I was pointed out and made to look like. That I was a meth head running riot. And just look at him. He's paranoid as hell. He keeps changing his locks. He can't get his house picked up. He's not eating. He rocks in his chair and thumps his leg and fidgets with his hands. And he's mean. He's mean and nasty. Yeah, he's angry all the time. You know, shoot. I was trying to wash a pair of shorts in the washing machine. Just one pair of shorts, you know. And he got all mad and upset with me, told me not to use the washing machine again. I told him, I said, the washing machine's broken, that's why it's jumping all over the floor. I said, he told me that you had to put enough in there to balance the load. I ain't never heard of such. This is the kind of stuff I had to deal with. Yeah, I did get mean. Some of you made me mean and nasty. The ignorance, now you can be just as ignorant as you want, because it's not going to be in a way that'll affect me. And therefore, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about proving who you are or what you did to anybody else. I don't even have to worry about who you are and what you did to me to prove to myself what happened. I know what happened. You know what happened. Today, it's just that way. I just make sure it doesn't happen again. I secured my castle. I take care of my puppy. Take care of myself. And yeah, I guess that's about it, man. I'm rambling now. Rambling man. I wish I could make it short, less long, so I could pipe in some music, but can't do that. So you're just gonna have to put up with my grainy ass voice. And have a great day. If your mama and daddy's still alive, love them, love them, love them. Because they ain't gonna be around forever, and you're gonna miss them when they're gone. See ya.